All right. Can I be heard? Let me know if I could be heard. Just want to know if I could be heard. So, oh, I lost Mr. Worthy. Hopefully he'll click back on. So we all know about our brother Grandmaster Jay in his case. He's facing a wanton endangerment case, and well, there's Mr. Worthy. Let's get him on, and he'll tell y'all all about it. For those that don't know about Grandmaster Jay, in his case and what he got going on, Bobby Worthy has been like, by his side and riding for him since all this started with him being incarcerated and whatnot. So I'm gonna give the floor to you, Mr. Worthy. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for coming in to give the people the update on our dear brother Grandmaster Jay. You have the floor.
But all right, y'all, peace and peace, black power. Well, um, when Jay, let's first make a long story short. When Jay was first arrested, and after he got out on bond, we conversated a lot, and then we actually filed the paperwork that I need to file now. That I'm be presenting to the federal government that will actually free Jay if they go by rules and regulations of the law. And it's called a jurisdictional challenge, where the federal government that most of attorneys know, but they won't present it or won't challenge the system, mainly because they are officers of the courts, and if they challenge the system, then they can be held. They can lose their bar license, or they can come at them in adverse in any kind of way, as they have done me and many others, as a retaliation. But Jay, um, is unlawfully incarcerated, um, because what you got to realize, the federal government, in order to arrest, indict, and or prosecute inside one of the union states, they must meet certain requirements, uh, of the 10th Amendment, Interstate Commerce Clause. And one or two of those requirements, um, one of those is two of the requirements, they either meet one or either both of those requirements. And the requirements are if they have to prove, the government have to prove that the alleged crime that happened on it is, they own the land that the alleged crime happened on, or it was in interstate commerce, as in the Lopez decision, where a gun was bought in a gun-free zone of a school. Uh, but basically, in a nutshell, they have to meet one or either both of those requirements before they can even arrest you, indict you, or prosecute you when inside one of the union states. This is why the federal government is a different entity, uh, than the state government. So, with that said, the jurisdictional challenge has already been filed, in Jacksonville Duval Court. So I'm just going to push the issue, and then start challenging the illegal incarceration of Grandmaster Jay.
So is Grandmaster Jay aware of your efforts?
He was. I'm sending him a letter out this week. He does know that the paperwork has been filed, before he was incarcerated, because we both anticipated this happening anyway. So we just never pushed the paperwork. There's a right time for everything. This and it's now that time.
So, Mr. Worthy, I'm sure you're personally familiar with GMJ. Can you tell the people what type of person Grandmaster Jay is, and um, how he's feeling about his status?
Well, basically, Jay was a presidential candidate at one time. Um, he is a person that brought us together in a number that has never been done before, uh, and meaning in numbers that has never done before. That itself is a proof of leadership when you can get that many black folks to follow another black man. Um, that's proof of leadership. Uh, Jay has always been a straight up guy to me. There's a lot of stuff going on by Jay, the police, and all that. That's everybody's own permission. That's their own belief, what they want to believe, and all that. I know him as a soldier. I know him as a brother, a comrade that put together a movement that we are needed, and we need to do everything we can to protect him and to free him, um, especially from an unlawful and illegal incarceration.
So he's still behind bars. I know that there's an appeal in place, and I know that the person that's running his GoFundMe page has sent an update saying that she still wants us to write the letters of commutation and also the letter of pardon. But I think the letter of pardon, she said something to the effect that the Biden administration may not even look at that right now because of the ongoing appeal. Um, do you? How soon do you think your brief will be addressed, and do you think that you'll have that before the appeal?
Well, you can't know because I mean, really, you don't know an appeal. Appeal can take anywhere from 6 months to 5, 6 years. Appeal is not, it's another ball game, and no, the appeal does not affect Biden's decision. The appeal will be simply if he dismiss it. If Joe Biden or any president and stepped in and pardoned him, then the appeal would disappear. Anything on that case will also be dismissed automatically. So no, the appeal would not affect his decision at all. Under legal terms, terminology, no, it was not. It would not affect his appeal because the pardon will dismiss every part of that case, and that would be even the appeal. It would be automatically dismissed.
You mentioned that we need to get behind him and ensure that he comes home. Why do you feel that way? Why do you have such a strong sentiment about that?
Because the fact is, I know that what he did. I've got pictures, several pictures. Officers always pointing guns at people. We was in Ferguson. I got pictures of officers pointing guns in the crowds. So why is these people not in jail? What's the difference between them and Grandmaster Jay? Except one is a police officer and white, and the other one is black and not a police officer. So is it favoritism and racism? I let everybody be the judge. I'm sure you know what it is. But uh, I'm about truth and justice. I'm about what's right and what's supposed to be done. Um, and you mentioned something about somebody writing letters. Um, Let me explain something to you about the letters you just mentioned. The person that's over the GoFundMe. I don't know who that is. I mean, but writing letters is not going to get it. I assure you. These people get thousands, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of mail a day. It's, it, that is that is an effort that's okay and that may possibly work, but in my opinion, and I've been doing this for 3 decades, they ain't gonna do but throw them letters under the door. It's a waste of time. It is until you push that ink pen, not letters, but that ink pen to file paperwork against them. All this writing, the lawyers and writing these people, some of them things, them people probably just throw in the trash. So that's all right. I mean, if you feel that it will hurt, help, and work, but I assure you, it's not. It's that paperwork. It is that ink pen that they used to take you. It is the ink pen that they used to take Jay from us and his family. And it's the ink pen that we need to use to take Jay back. Ain't no letters and marching and protests gonna do it.
So you mentioned something earlier about, us being able to write the letters. I mean, push the pen, right, and file the
Hmm.
suit. Can you give us? I know you probably stated the case precedent, but can you go into details as to why a jurisdictional claim, a legal claim, will work?
Well, it's not.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not a claim. A jurisdictional challenge is challenging the government's authority. Then, for one, as I said, the government, in order for the government to come inside one of the union states to make an arrest, to indict, and or prosecute for a crime, they must meet they must meet the requirements of the 10th Amendment Interstate Commerce Clause, in which that is uh, first you must have proved that the government must prove they own the land that the alleged crime happened in, right? Or they can prove interstate commerce, meaning he crossed state line, he was on a U.S. highway or interstate highway. Uh, and I need to plug my phone up real fast before it dies. Hold on. But that's the main issue. They got to meet one or either both of those requirements. And and people know this, and this is what the government will say. Well, the local authorities will say, well, we called them in and we deputized them. No, you can't deputize federal government agents, not inside the union states. It's still they must meet the same requirements. You can invite them in all you want to. They have no jurisdiction until they can prove those two things, the 10th and the 10th Amendment, either one or both. They have to prove it. If they can't prove that, and that was decided in Lopez decision, where a gun was brought into a school zone, a gun-free zone, and they tried to arrest him, and and it did not extend in the powers of Congress in the case. So basically, the Congress did not have power. They didn't have interstate commerce. They could not prove that the gun crossed state line. Hello?
I'm sorry.
Hello?
I'm sorry, brother. I forgot
Okay.
that I wasn't on the screen.
And why
what I
why
was
you ain't tell me that?
what I was
See,
saying was
I got
that
something good.
what I was saying was that you're saying that the police officer that arrested the guy with the gun in the gun-free zone was not a regular uh, officer for the police department of that county or that area, or he was
No, no,
special these deputized people that
no,
came
no,
in and made the arrest.
no. That what I'm saying is there was a federal charge. The Fed did not have the authority to make the arrest and indict or even try to prosecute. It didn't meet the requirements of the 10th Amendment Interstate Commerce Clause.
Oh, so they tried him in federal court as opposed to state court. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
it was a federal. Yeah, Lopez. You Google Lopez decision. Yeah, it was a federal case.
Federal case. Okay, and so based on the
Well, then the Fed.
go ahead.
Now, go ahead. Well, the Fed does have what they call dual sovereignty. And this is something that if I win the NAACP president, that I'm going to challenge to change with uh, all the state, Georgia State Conference and the national NAACP, is to affect change to. There was a case that was not too maybe 3-4 years ago that would have proved that the Fed, because see the Fed come in and the Fed say if you got a state crime, you can dual sovereignty means that the federal government, after you serve the state time, then the Fed can charge you for the same crime. It's called dual sovereignty and it's legal and legit. But if you challenge them with the jurisdictional challenge, it won't be legal or legit.
So right now, GMJ is incarcerated in federal prison, and he's still waiting to present their case.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just using that as an example. I don't know. I don't think the state is going to prosecute him. At least I haven't seen anything on it.
Okay, so if what you're saying
But
is
they
correct,
can.
you say they can. All right. So, but what you're trying to challenge the federal conviction.
Yes, not the federal conviction. This is what got him in jail now. Now the state could come back and say, hey, well, we're gonna punish him too. But the federal government doesn't have the authority. The state could have that authority. It can have that authority to do that, but the Fed, under the federal level, which he's in federal crime, charged with a federal crime, not a state crime. And since he's charged with a federal crime, then they got to meet the requirements of their law, their Constitution, their 10th Amendment, their Interstate Commerce Clause. But they've been doing it so long that they're comfortable with doing it. It's just like a thief. You know, you're going to get comfortable. You're going to keep stealing until you get caught. So they done got caught now.
But okay, so his charge is not is his charge regarding firearms? I thought it was just wanton endangerment.
No, it was pointing at a federal agency, pointing and banishing a weapon at a federal law enforcement officer, and it was something else. I have to look at it in the way they had it worded, but it's banishing a weapon, reckless endangerment, like under federal charges. So,
got you. So you said that you were running for the president of NAACP, and you want to
the state, Georgia State Conference,
Georgia State, right? And in that, you want to educate the people on exactly what you're doing with Grandmaster Jay and their legal rights to petition
the
grand juries, right? And so, is that
Yes.
what you did? You're petitioning the grand jury with your filing?
No, not on this.
Okay.
Not on this. On this, we're not using the grand jury, and because of I don't want to say it, but because of the things I'm limited on doing, because of my bond conditions, I can't. You know, that's a different ball game. But the jurisdictional challenge is challenging what he's incarcerated for now.
Gotcha.
And he's in federal custody, not state custody. So dealing with the state is a different ball game. And then the thing about it is the type of stuff that I teach and the things I do, people don't realize you don't have to be an attorney to do it. You don't have to have an attorney. You don't have to be an attorney to file a writ of mandamus. You don't have to be an attorney to file a writ of habeas corpus. You don't have to be an attorney to file a quanto one. You don't have to be an attorney to file a civil suit for yourself. You don't have to be an attorney to petition the grand jury. You don't have to be an attorney to file criminal charges on any public officials. And all a writ of mandamus is to force the hand of a public official to do the duties entrusted to them. Simple things that we don't do to like to read. And this is what I'm going to do as the Georgia State Conference president, is to teach all the branches, the local branches, the executive boards of the local branches, local presidents within the state of Georgia, and eventually out into North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida, and eventually national, to teach them how to file these type of paperwork legally and lawfully that they can file to take it to the next level. And that's where the NAACP is allowing, and it's lacking now, is because when people file complaints with them, they lack the ability to take it any further because they lack the knowledge and understanding of these procedures. This is why I say all the time, if you're an attorney, like the current president of the NAACP for Georgia State Conference, if you're an attorney and you are not using it for the benefits of the organization, then why even be in the NAACP? Give somebody else that has that hunger, that wants to do things for somebody, and not sit around and I have a dream speeches and and talking about I'm sick and tired and I'm not gonna take it no more. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say that I'm sick. We're not gonna take it no more. You say it at every event. It's time to move to the next level. For there's some more I have a dream speeches, as I said, for I am the solution.
So you mentioned the I have a dream speeches, and we're not going to take it anymore. I don't mean to switch idea thoughts. I know we were talking about Grandmaster Jay, but
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that he was fighting for was liberation of our people, for us to be free from the oppressors, right? So let me have your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on what happened in Tulsa with Judge Carolyn Walls dismissing that case.
Well, see, this is the problem where I said in my campaign that I'm targeting police and government accountability. See, the Constitution, their Constitution, was written to protect the people from the power and oppression of an overbearing government, to keep them from being abusive over other individuals. But they have switched that round. They have turned that round on us, and they actually they are using the Constitution to protect them. The Constitution was never ever written to give them immunity, judicial immunity, qualified immunity, or 11th Amendment immunity. It was never ever made for that. It was written to protect the people, not the government. And they have twisted that around, and we have allowed it because we don't read. And most of us, the ones that are licensed attorney, knows this, but they won't challenge it. Ben Crump, none of them. Gerald Griggs, our state president for the NAACP, none of them won't challenge what they're supposed to challenge, because they know these people will step in and prove where organized crime in America begins is with the state bar. The state bar of every state is where organized crime begins, because they are in ones that empower the judges and the lawyers to do, the prosecutors to do all the dirt they do. So therefore, organized crime in this country starts with the state bar within the state that you live in. And now if these attorneys overstep their little bound and get out of that box and challenge it the wrong way, all they're going to do is suspend their license and take their livelihood. And I understand, I have friends that they have taken their license because they challenged the IRS or they challenged the government on something. And I understand that. But you can't be real if you're not willing to sacrifice yourself and what you work for. If you ain't willing to die and stand up for what you believe in this country, even all of us love Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? But nobody want to. We always talk about that I have a dream speech, but nobody want to hear the speeches when he said he feared that he integrated his people into a burning furnace, burning house. And it's just they don't understand that. And even Martin said, if you're not willing to live, if you're not willing to die for what you believe and for those you love, then you are not worth living.
So when they step in and take an attorney's license, are they giving justification for it, or are they finding some?
I'm sure they got some rule or regulation they use, because they always do. Like most Christians, they all use the Bible. They always come up to justify their twisted ways. They can always find one Bible verse to protect them and think what they doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's no different. It's the mindset. I've been saying it all the time. In everything that go on in this world, it's the mindset. If we ain't gonna change the mindset, ain't nothing else gonna change. Nothing until we change the mindset. The government gonna keep doing what they're doing, and we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, because the body. And then we can gather with armies, even like Jay. When Jay brought all these black guys together, armed soldiers together, that was great. But if ain't now one of them, and that of all their minds are different and not in the same category, then you waste your time. That march was fruitless because you got to change the mindset. Now, with that said, when Jay, this is what a real soldier does. A real soldier, if our leader gets knocked down like Jay, then that every soldier in there should be able to step up and perform the job that Jay did. They should have continued it. Instead, they allowed them to dismantle them. Therefore, their mindset was not right and they wasn't ready for it. They needed a leader. So because they only know how to follow. But you must become a follower before you become a leader. So if you become a follower, if you become a leader before you're a follower, then when they stop you from following, then you going to fall off. Because you don't know how to take it no more. It's the mindset.
So I do.
All them guys.
Mm-hmm. I do understand that the NFAC was made up of, it was a coalition of gun clubs and militias, right? Black militias. So
Huey P. Newton, all of them.
Right. All those gun clubs had their individual leaders. And it was my understanding that they put Jay out front because he speaks very well. He's very articulate. And it made him the face of the NFAC, right? And he didn't have any private gun club or any militia prior to forming NFAC. So do you think that NFAC is going to come back as it was, or it's going to be something brand new where Jay is the only leader grooming others to be leaders?
Well, no. And when NFAC happened, it was a great thing, but it wasn't. Even if they wouldn't have took Jay down, it still wouldn't have lasted. It wouldn't have lasted because we don't have the mindset. We're not ready. We're not structured. See, this is what people understand. See, white supremacist groups are well-armed, well-structured, and well-organized. Believe me. And we are not ready for any kind of conflict with any. Look what happened at the Capitol building. Now just think, if those people would have been armed, what kind of damage they would have did. And see, they wasn't all on Facebook showing their training techniques. They wasn't all on Facebook telling where they're going to meet at and doing all that. They just went and did it. And look what they did. And they wasn't even armed. Some of them had weapons, but they didn't use them. Just think of all them people would have been armed. Look at Charlottesville. What happened in Charlottesville? We are not ready. It's because most of us are fake and not real with it. Because we want to go on Facebook and all these social medias and show our training techniques and doing this and we doing that, doing the work. And then I see a lot of them. This is my gun, my armor room. Really? Mindset. You're gonna sit there and say, this is your armor room. You know what you just did? So if the police have to come to your house, you just put your family at risk for your stupidity and ignorance. No one has to know what you are doing or what you got in your house. But if the police see you got all that and they come into your house, you just put your wife and your kids and your family at risk for your stupidity and ignorance, because when they come, they're going to come hard because you got all that stuff in that house. It's the mindset. It's our human nature that overrules everything in our life. It's a human nature that overrules your love for yourself, the love for you have for your very own children. It is your human nature that overrules even your faith in your religion. Because all religions that are in this world today are based on faith, not facts. And they all do things that their religion requires them not to do. So it's the mindset they have trained us in. And Minister Farrakhan said it long. It is religion in this country that divides us.
So what is it going to take to change our mindset? What do you have in mind that will change our mindset?
We have to get the youth. We have to do. In 10 years, the solution I have is in 10 years, if we sanction rap music, like we have shown this before, it's rap music. Once we sanction the rap music of today, that's destroying the black neighborhoods. It promotes everything that's destroying the black neighborhoods, and now it's filtering into the white neighborhoods. The rap music of today is it is not the only thing, but is the core behind the destruction of our people.
So if we get rap music out of the communities, you say ban it for 10 years, the mindset.
No, ban it forever. I say in 10 years.
In 10 years, we'll be a different nation of people, is what you're saying.
You got kids. Yes, you got children. I got a 15. She's 16 now. And she's been in juvenile for doing this. And you see all the girls doing it, little girls doing it. My daughter done it. I've seen it. I've gotten on her. My nieces, cousins, they're doing it. This is not a peace sign, people. See, this is a gang. When you extend these hands at the bottom, it's a gang sign. This is a peace sign when you fold the hands. But they do this, and where they get it from? Rap music. Rap music has this 15-year-old girl in juvenile, and she's been in there since Thanksgiving of last year, and the judge is not bowing down. They got it for gang affiliation. So y'all sit down there. I see grown men and women doing the same thing with their daughters and got their little kids, 3 and 4 years old, doing the same thing. It's the mental state of slavery that's destroying us, and the rap music is promoting it.
You said that they got it for a gang sign. What, they seen it online on social media?
Yeah. Her and her mama. Her mama in jail too. They was with the other known gang members doing this in several pictures. Wow. So they arrested the gang members and they got her in there. And she, and then 2-3 years ago, they had a high school football star, athlete going everywhere. The boy missed his whole senior year, now he in prison. Did not get to graduate for gang affiliation because he hanging with gang members. So where's the mom and dad at when you out here hanging with known gang members and you an athlete getting ready to go to college? Serious mental state of slavery, and all that is backed up and promoted by this rap music, Boosie and all these guys. You know what I'm saying? And I know these guys, and I understand they're making money. That's fine, but at what expense did you make money to destroy the mindset? And my age and people there, we already in a mindset, and it's not going to change. We're going to have to change the mindset of our children. But if you got your children at 3 and 4 years old listening to these rap music, talking about B's and H's and N's and all this word and all that there, then they're going to grow up in a serious mental state of slavery. Now, if you wait till they 12 and 13 when they got their mind is all right and they leveled off and they know how to think for themselves, then you'll be all right. But if they listen to music at 3 and 4 years old, you riding down the road with your baby in the car, and all they hear is B's, H's, B's, and all this him, and your baby them growing up on that, what you think finna happen?
Yeah. So what you put into your mind is probably, determines how you're gonna think, how you're gonna feel, how you're gonna act. So I do agree with that, Mr. Worthy. Tell everybody again that about your run for NAACP presidency in Georgia, and where they can reach you and follow you.
Well, you can go to all my pages, social media, Bobby Worthy. You'll see my pictures on that thing. My pictures, my symbol, the Justice League United. I'm from the National Judge Advocate General for the Justice League United, a human rights organization that I founded some years ago that attack injustice at the level that no one has ever attacked before. I'm not me myself. We are the ones, and my co-defendant that got Jackie Johnson in the Ahmaud Arbery case indicted and arrested with the role that she played, the district attorney played in the Ahmaud Arbery case. It was mine. It was not the NAACP. It was not the Dream Defenders and all these people claiming all the fame that brought the national attention to the Ahmaud Arbery case. It was me that brought the attention. It was me and my co-defendant that actually had the jury, the district attorney Jackie Johnson indicted, where we petitioned and addressed the grand jury and had her arrested. And because of that, we went after a judge in this. Now we're facing 10 years in prison because we took a lawful warrant out on the judge to use the petition of the grand jury, and they reversed the charges and had the grand jury special presentment and indict us for falsifying document, which is a felony that carries 10 years in prison. So basically, my run for the NAACP state president, I've talked to several other state presidents, North Carolina state president, and my whole thing is the election is October the 7th at the conference in Georgia. It'll be at a state conference. You can't vote unless you're a member of a local branch that's in good standing and you are appointed as a delegate, but that's a long story. But anyway, my plan is to go after prison reform, making prison and parole, making parole and probation a right, not a privilege. This will depreciate the overcrowding of prisons. This will depreciate the murders and killings and the understaffs in all the prisons, and hopefully all the states will catch on board and start doing the same. And then police accountability and government accountability is the most important thing. One of the most important things, because until we start having accountability at the lower level, then there will never be accountability at the higher level. Meaning, when police officers are speeding, you need to track them. You get their vehicle number. You need to find out where they was at. You need to report them, and you need to record them or videotape them. Police cannot speed. That is unlawful. And started getting these people tickets. I done got 60 citations against police officers by doing what I'm doing at speeding. If you see a police officer in your state speeding, you get his tag number. If you can't know exactly how fast he's going, you estimate it, and you call it complaining, and you demand that they give him a ticket. And my legislation is to make sure they put in the state of Georgia that every police officer, local and state level, that every law enforcement officer have tracking devices on their vehicles to track their speed. And when they're speeding, they get tickets, and if they continue to get tickets and speeding, then their ass is fired.
So basically, I guess what you're saying is we're going to hold them to their words. They printed these documents. They came up with these documents, and we're going to hold them to it and hold them accountable to what they say is law. Mr. Worthy, I certainly do appreciate you taking your time out to be with us to explain GMJ and his jurisdictional challenge that you have put forth. We thank you for that. And thank you for educating us on that matter. Definitely, I'm going to look into more of that jurisdictional challenge and how that plays out. Any last words you want the audience to know?
Yes. Well, the thing about it, let's put it this way, and let me tell you how to get a hold of somebody want to question me. You can call me or text me. My number is 912-424-0752. And just Google my name, all that will come. You'll find me in there somewhere on the internet. I'm on it. But then to telling everybody, one of our most powerful thing is the petition of the grand jury. We have to understand, as we being members of the grand jury, your power. No authority when in session. There's no authority, not the judge, not the prosecutor, not no one authority, not even the governor or the president has authority over the grand jury when they are in session. That is the power that you need to know. The prosecutors are only there to inform you of what the law says, but you make the ultimate decision as a grand jury. You have the power to tell the judge to shut up. You have the power to tell the prosecutor to get out. That is the power when you become a grand jury member. Somebody like me will never be on the grand jury because it'll be a lot of people going to jail.
All right, Mr. Worthy. So thank you so much for giving us the update once again in all of your knowledge in the law. And I do agree that we definitely have to hold these people accountable. We're going to switch gears here. I don't know if you want to stick around for the next segment, because we're going to talk about the hip hop industry and music industry. And we're going to delve into our sister Janelle Monae and the whole controversy regarding that Essence Festival that took place in New Orleans over the July 4th holiday. So if you want to stick around, you can, and I'll go through her history while we're waiting on the next guest to come back up. Hopefully he'll come back in.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar what happened?
Yes, I am.
Recently?
Oh, what'd you say?
I'm talking about in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, what happened in
Huh?
Atlanta?
Well, a radio personality, what's her name? Went to I can't think of her name right now, but she went to, her name is Darlene.
Oh yeah, she went to
Went,
this Woody's
yeah,
place, right? She went to Woody.
yeah, she went to that place, yeah, the guy, he told her name, the guy, she wrote Darky on the receipt.
Right. So I think that she's I think she's suing the establishment, or is she not?
Well, she got an attorney. She got an attorney. I don't know what they're gonna do. So I mean, but I seen it. I believe I believe in show and tell. All that showing up and having them eye dream reaches and all that, it don't mean nothing until when you put that ink pen on them. When I see an ink pen moving and some paperwork filed, then I believe on that. All that other stuff, to me, ain't nothing but propaganda. They ain't did nothing. Getting up there with their little suits on, to talking about this and that, the injustice and all that. Stop all that injustice. We looking into it. Don't look into it. Put that paperwork on it. What do you need to look on when it's on the receipt? Darky. What you gotta
Yeah,
look at?
yeah. I got
Man,
it.
get out of here, man.
Yeah.
That's that pretending mess I'm talking about.
Right. So you gonna stick around, Brother Roddy, or you gonna fall back?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank you. Greetings, Brother Major. How are you this evening?
Blessings. I'm beautiful. How are you?
I am doing well, and Mr. Bobby Worthy is joining us as well.
How you doing, brother man?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Hey, so
Living life,
um,
living life.
good. You driving safe on that road, right? You got both hands on the steering wheel, right?
Of course. You want me to show you? Shit.
Hey, hey,
No. Keep your hand on the steering wheel.
hey,
Okay, so thank
hey,
you, my
Leslie got
brother. Thank you for coming in. Now,
Leslie got one of them Telsas.
say again.
I said Leslie got one of them Telsas.
Not yet.
Yes, indeed. So, Brother Major, I thank you for coming in and talking and wanting to talk about this whole Janelle Monae situation. You brought it to my attention, and I did some, deep diving, researching on the young artist, and I was quite surprised of her boldness in this hour. So, if you will, for those who don't know Janelle Monae, can you kind of fill us in on who she is and what brought her attention to you?
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for supporting your channel and continue to support Cody Speaks, news, facts, and comments. Your sister really pushing what's needed in our community. And that's just real talk. But I've been liking the sister, her music, her acting abilities, very talented, her writing and what have you. The sister is devastating. But since the LGBTQ community took off, and she came out not wanting to be described as no particular gender, right? She was the pushing, the thing about women rights and women being able to be free to do whatever they want. And most of it, I agree with her, right? But what bothered me the most was the fact that there's a certain narrative she's painting about if a man won't be with a man or a woman won't be with a woman, that that is wrong for society to condemn it. And my whole issue was we've been raised a certain kind of way, under scripture, as well as just knowing um that a man and woman can produce fruits, can be plentiful, versus a man and two men and two women can't, right? And I mean, I can't knock nobody. They want to be whoever they want to be with and be whatever they want to be. But I just told you to check it out because when she was on Breakfast Club and a few other platforms, she was pushing this very heavy about not putting labels on things and the same sex thing and people doing what they want and what have you. Some of it I do agree with, but it just bothered me because these are narratives that's really affecting our community. And I watched two sisters on the podcast say that, and they were challenging her, right? And they were saying that we're black first and then whatever, right? And it's we have all these different narratives going on, right? That it takes you away from your essence of who you are and what your struggle is all about, right? Now it's not about just black, it's black and gay and all this, that, and other. So for me, I was just concerned. I felt like we definitely should talk about it because our young people have been exposed in such a way that we never, I apologize for the noise in the background of the GPS. We've never seen it so prevalent in our homes, straight in our face. Even though I had uncle who was I'm gonna say transsexual. I never seen him like a man. He always, I'm talking about from a baby to up until he died when I was in my 40s, still looking like, he was the titties and all that, looking like a woman, wigs and all that, right? So for me, I seen it though, but now it's like you hear about it everywhere. And it's become the thing where our young people whose mind is really undeveloped is being exposed to it. So for me, I felt like, and we need to talk about this ASAP. We need to try to clear the smoke and whatever. So that's all I wanted to say about the sister. But as far as how I love her, she's a beautiful person, but there are some concerns I have about her.
You're right, Major. I think that there is an agenda, and they make no qualms about it. They're proud to say that they are pushing their agenda, and they're making it seem as if it's equality. They're doing it under the guise of equality, and they're likening it to like a civil rights movement kind of thing. All these rights, and they can't be discriminated against because of what they want to call themselves. And everybody has a right to call themselves whatever they want to. Like you say, they have a right to be. But I think that coming to um, what's their their move is now the new norm, and we are now like I guess you could say heterosexual beings are second class citizens now, um, and that to me is kind of concerning when their rights trump your rights. It's bad enough that we as a melanated nation have to fight for our rights. Then on top of that, we have to fight against uh, something that's traditionally has been looked at as taboo, and to force us to like just accept it. I don't think that's right. It just don't fit right in my spirit. To each his own, but I think that to force it or force people to accept you in the way that you want to be seen, or and say that it should be a part of your daily acceptance. I just don't know. Um, I just don't know if that's okay. But I do want to say that Janelle Monae, she came, she was brought up in a two-parent household, and then I do believe that they parents separated, um, and then her mother remarried. So it's not that she was missing parents or guidance. I think that this is something that she's come up with as her career evolved, in being young that she is, being influenced by, like I said, this massive movement, and she's decided to just sit it out and just be non-binary. That's what she's calling herself, non-binary, and also an android. Have you guys ever heard of that being um, recognized as an android?
No, it's just a fancy term. Like right now, man, like people are really just wilding out. I don't think it's even about the moral system anymore. Even it's not even about the rules and what have you, guidelines. I mean, people just live in a certain kind of way, and if and that's why I guess that's why you need laws, you need rules, you need all this stuff because people be out of trouble. There'll be mayhem, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I understand how women have been undervalued, disrespected, treated inhumane. I'm not even say that hasn't been a fact, right? But I'm saying though, even with the LGBTQ community, but the extreme they will go to. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of vengeance out there too towards, you know, men in general. So it is a lot of vindictiveness, a lot of reactions that's kind of crazy. But that term I never heard. You know, I don't want to call it crazy because I understand the anger, but my thing is I just feel like right now people use different terminology and different things just to basically just, I mean, I guess become unglued about the subject. You know, just be just raw about everything. And I'm like, I welcome the conversation. I just don't think it's rational sometimes to make certain conclusions that's not really fair when you're not looking at the whole picture. You're just looking at it from the standpoint of feeling like you've been violated and you've been through something in your life that now you know you want to just tag the whole idea of just being a man and woman and production and whatnot. And they may not be saying it verbally, but like indirectly, you know.
But okay, so the whole thing controversy that happened July 4th with the Essence Fest, um, she normally she's in tuxedo. That's her fit, right? She's known for wearing the tuxedos, right? So, but then during the Essence Fest, she was in like a bikini type thing, right? And she exposed her breasts. Now, a lot of people were saying that we shouldn't criticize her for being sexual or exploiting her sexuality, but I thought she was binary, like not a man, not a woman, just so why are you exposing your breasts? That part I don't understand. If we're not identifying as a woman, why are we exposing our breasts? And what was that for? Mr. Worthy, are you familiar with that?
Yes. You there? Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. So are you
Yes.
are you familiar with that scene that happened at the Essence Fest and her being non-binary and an android? Are you familiar with that?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Hey, to each his own. They let them do it. But legally and lawfully, really, a woman can actually walk around topless. You got women, some women they breastfeed in public. So I mean, lawfully you can't. A woman can't walk around topless if she wants to, just like a man.
So, but I thought that was indecent exposure.
No, it's not. Google it. They can. It's actually women that do that. A woman can actually walk around bare chested, just like a man.
Wow. Okay. So,
You got
so
women that feed. I know a woman that breastfeed her baby in the park, all hanging out.
so indecent exposure is not a thing.
Well, they wouldn't call that indecent exposure unless you were butt naked, but topless, yeah. I mean, you look at it. The way the law is written, men walk around too with their shirts off. So I mean, they still exposed. They ain't got breasts like women, but some of them do. But I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah, it's lawful. You can actually walk around. They can walk around bare chested.
Okay. So our older sister India Ari had something to say about Janelle Monae's performances as well as I can't remember the other star. She's real popular.
You know,
Say again.
you talking about Erica DeBoo when she You talking about Erica DeBoo when she made a video walking down the road naked?
No. I'm talking about the Essence Fest. The Essence Fest that just
Oh,
happened. It was Janelle Monae and another
uh-huh.
another big star that invited girls up to pork and everything on stage. So India Ari has something to say about that. Are you familiar with India Ari?
No, no, I know who she is, but what did she say? I didn't know what she said.
Okay, so India Ari slammed. She's getting slammed for judging Megan the Stallion. That's the other artist name. Megan the Stallion and Janelle Monae had what they deemed sexy performances. And India Ari,
Hmm.
she came out with a statement basically denouncing their performances. And basically she said that some things are made for television, some things are made for kids, and we don't have to over sexualize ourselves as women to be appreciated or to be acknowledged, right?
Well,
So
yes.
say again.
No, I heard you say yes.
So you agree with her. So she says, is everything for kids? No. Is everything for everybody? No. So when we as a culture make something like this mainstream, it shows a lack of discretion and discernment. She continued, to those in the comments who laugh at anyone who wants things for our culture, you certainly have that right. Just as many folks have the right to want our mainstream international export music to show us in a respectful light. I'd like to go on the record saying this won't age well, and that's my issue. So she's saying that their performances won't be one that will go down in history as something that's very prominent, like this prominent, right? So
Yeah.
she got a lot of backlash from that, including this one
Mm.
young lady who has a YouTube channel, and I want to go ahead and play that clip. Take a listen to what she had to say. She's actually, I believe she said that she's in New Orleans. Let me go ahead and okay. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the audio? Can you hear the audio, Bobby?
No.
No,
Nope.
you can't hear the audio. Okay, yeah. So I think I have to share my screen this way. Let me do it this way. Yeah, that would be better for us. You guys can take a look. Let's see. Let me go here. 1 second. As I thought this goes into what you were saying, um, uh, Brother Bobby, about the mindset. I want you to watch her mindset. It's to me, it's totally off. But let's go.
Should that only be happening in dark, dank strip clubs or something like that, India? India is one of those women that I feel like because you experience your femininity a certain way, you feel like everybody else should express their femininity the way you express yours. And you grew up in the respectability politics mindset that whenever a woman is scantily clad or showing her body or gyrating, that she must be doing so for the attention of some basic level. Now, what I would like everybody to graduate in their mindset is that women are beautiful. Women know they're beautiful. They like their bodies. And people from New Orleans really like to shake their, and they'll shake anywhere.
Okay. Did y'all hear what she just said?
Yeah. I don't. I mean, go ahead. I'll let y'all respond, but I don't agree with what she just said.
Okay, great. Major, did you hear what she just said?
Yeah, I heard.
What's your take on that? That women from New Orleans shake their booties anywhere, and if they want to shake their booty because they're beautiful, it's not for attention. But I think that that's probably why they do it. They want to be seen. I mean,
I
what
mean,
do you think?
we from New Orleans. You're not from New Orleans, so we know what she's talking about. But that's the problem right there, right? We seen older people, we seen young adults and babies do that. And what's so sad is I understand from the mother, I understand from motherland traditional way we danced and did certain things and what have you. I'm not even against that. What I don't like is the fact that New Orleans has been through so much in reference to black people suffering, right? And the situation social, politically, economically has definitely suffered against us. And for her to put emphasis on something like that, knowing that a lot of time that dance can become very derogatory, it can become appear to be very derogatory, very ratchet and what have you. I understand we have an audience and we have people that like that, Well, what kind of message we sending to our people? You know what I'm saying? And a community that's suffering, that you're gonna do is shake your ass, cut up, do this, that, and other, when there's some real stuff on your community that you're not addressing, that you don't care to address. You know, I think there's a time and place for everything, but to me, and I'm born and raised in New Orleans. I never really liked it there. You know what I'm saying? I never, especially when I see like kids doing. Sometimes it can be funny. It's not gonna be looking like, oh, you know, you see somebody as attractive, you might even, look at a certain kind of way and be like, man, she look good, whatever. But in the end, it look ratchet, bro. And that's those narratives that we accept as a people, we run with. And unfortunately, New Orleans, that's a bad narrative because it's cool everywhere. New Orleans people go, they're gonna share um that we how we dance and how we dance in New Orleans and this, that, and other. I didn't see them stop, in the middle of the street and just cut up the Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? And some of it can be fun, you know what I'm saying? It don't gotta be as bad. But overall, the narrative of it is sad, And for her to just NARE because she said that Essence in losing, and I'm paraphrasing, their identity, why Essence was created, you know what I'm saying, for beautiful melanated women, you know what I'm saying, and um address how empowered black women are and successful and how great they are, been doing the down to that, whereas now they're trying to kid because they said, I don't know the guy, he's a young guy, 29, he's a VP or whatever over Essence. He's trying to cater to the young crowd, right? And that will come with it. So you got the older people that's coming watching a certain entertainers and being a certain kind of setting and being mixed up with the younger people would have it. So it's a conflict, and I understand that they're trying to serve both audience, but at the same time, it's taken away from the essence of what it's all about. And that's what I seen with NRE saying. It was her opinion, just like the lady from lady from North, that was her opinion. End of the day, I just feel like that need to be discussed more. That's all. We just need to have an intelligent conversation about it. NBC, intelligent conversation about it where we can really come to some kind of understanding because the situation NRE took a lot of attention from what she really was saying, and people went to focusing on the debate about it, whether they try discussing why she said what she said and whatnot. Because BT, I mean, Essence not even on. I don't even believe about blacks anymore. So water right now. So it's not even on by blacks, I believe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna close just saying that, man. And I think discussion needs to be had in our community, point blank, about our struggles with identifying what's real and what's not. What's healthy and what's not. But I always feel each to each his own. That's what makes people happy. That's what they want to do in the midst of their struggles. What's up? In the midst of their struggles, then hey, but we got some real stuff going on in Tulsa. And for us to be entertaining stuff like that and dealing with that in our community is just sad.
Well, I asked Brother Worthy earlier, and let me get your take on it. You mentioned mindset, and the young lady in this video mentioned mindset. What do you think it's going to take to change the mindset of the people? Did you hear me, Major?
Say it again.
What do you think is going to change? What did you think is going to take to change the mindset of the people?
Love, togetherness, and a real focus, genuine focus to clean up our community. Me personally, on my list of our word talk about the Constitution is for the people that have, yeah, for them, not really for us. We made it fit us. When I was in prison, I took their law and threw in their face to get my time back. That's how what Thurgood Marshall did. He when they was talking about serving equal and all that stuff, they were trying to do the Scott case, whatever. He said, okay, it can be something cool. He said, well, same thing you do for white schools, I do for black schools, right? He used reverse psychology, and that's how he won the board education versus Topeka, Kansas versus Old Texas versus Brown. He won the case in 1954. But we've been taking these laws and using them laws against them for the longest. The problem is when you go against that machine, eventually, you know what I'm saying? The true segregation, the true Jim Crow, the true racism will always come out. You know what I'm saying? That we never was supposed to be in a position we in right now, even though we still struggling. It wasn't matter to get this far. You know what I'm saying? As divided we are, we still are, making we making progress. It's just not the progress we looking for. All this move, my self determination, being on this, that, and other. In my opinion, we gotta learn from the MLKs, the Marcus Garveys, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad. A lot of it was grassroots. I grew up by it. We get in front of the camera too much and we talk too much. I mean, when you have even when you look at the different revolutions around the world, right? These are underground revolutions that took surface. A lot of people trying to create a revolution on social media don't know what they're doing, and it always backfires. You know what I'm saying? Some people, the ego is too big. They're narcissists. They're big mouth. They don't listen. They think they know everything. You're not accomplishing nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta shut up and you gotta do like Henry Ford did, right? Henry Ford see a reporter, right? Because on the reporter said he was dumb and stupid. He was dumb and stupid, and he was ignorant, like uneducated, and that he had people do everything for him. And he sued him. He said, "Why should I have to learn anything when I could just push a button and tell somebody to do something?" So he was ingenious enough to know one thing. Once he created the idea, he just got to put the master team together. And Napoleon Hill talked about the book Think and Grow Rich was in that book right there, right? So if you call yourself a leader or what have you, it's not you that get the job. You get the people get the job done for you. A true leader, like you said, is a follower first. He don't lead, follow first. He listen to the people, what have you, and then he put together his plan. Of course, there's gonna be some politics involved here and there. Sometimes you may have to flex your muscle, but in the day, that should be the goal. And I feel like building our community is gonna be solely on us. I don't. Like I told you once before. The question was, Cody, why haven't why haven't black people been able to get reparations? Haven't been able to accomplish self determination? One thing, we have not been able to come together. Point blank, we were to come together, it'll be more easy to accomplish whatever because they see the powers in numbers. But we too egotistical. Soon we learn there's something go down our head. And it's just crazy, man. Like they can come together to plot to take over you, and they can be beef. They can come together and take over after, right? We beef. We don't come together to deal with them. We stay beefing, and it just tears apart. This social media stuff, this camera is a threat and detriment to lives that don't know what we're doing. We don't understand. We playing within their playground, and there's rules you gotta play by. But until you understand,
So
if you're not learning from all the other groups I'm sorry, what you about to say?
I was going to go back to the reparations thing. That's one of my favorite topics for understanding, right? So I just recently got an invitation to participate in the town hall meeting for Afro descendants, right? And we're going to talk about reparations. It's going to be on the table. My question is, all these different groups, right? We got Afro descendants, we have ADOS, we have FB1, we have B1, we have Aboriginals, we have Indigenous, we have Hebrew Israelites, we have Moors. Where do you think
Let- let's
that we can at once for one time just say we are this, we are just
let's
this? That's
let's
that's what unity has to. That's why we're divided because we're so many different labels, except for one nation.
let's
Like, can we just be one
talk
nation
about
one time?
the vegan pads and small salad on the side.
Bobby, Bobby Worthy, can we just be one nation one time?
Let me stop you right there. Hold on. I'm gonna let Bobby Word and speak. I gotta order something right quick. Hold on.
Go right ahead, Mr. Worthy. You got that look on your face like you want to say it.
Well, what she said to me was some part was good, but other part was ignorant. I don't see this. this lady, I don't agree with the way she dressed, and most men probably wouldn't disagree with it, no way, you know. But I mean, but um, it is what it is. Nobody said nothing about Moon Donna was coming on stage naked. All this here. Nobody said nothing about Nas, little Nas X with his gay behind coming on stage dressed like a woman and all that. Our children is showing and following Nas. This is what our children follow. A faggot, excuse my language, that he's performing and they loving him. But this lady come out showing her breasts, which she can do legally and lawfully. She can walk around in the park showing her titties. And then in Aubrey got something to say. And then this girl got something to say. And her speech was ignorance because you're not, just like he just said, we're not taking the issues. All that shit y'all talking about ain't had nothing with doing but making a betterment of our people, our government, are making better for us as a people, are attacking the stuff that we need to be attacking. And just like I said, all that stuff that happened at the Essence War with what's the other girl? What was the other girl you mentioned?
Meg the
I
Stallion.
don't follow rap.
Meg the Stallion.
Meg the Stallion.
Yeah.
Meg the Stallion is one of the #1 promoters that do this, the gang sign that our little girls are doing is getting locked up for. So she is not part of the, she's a part of the problem. She is the one that I'm the B that you don't want to mess with. I'm the H. We're in such a, a, a deep mental state of slavery when we can say to my brother and sister the N words, and then our brothers and sisters accept it as words of honor and respect. Not only accept it, that women accept being called B's and H's. They're calling themselves the B, like Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, I'm the B you don't want to mess with. I'm that H you don't know nothing about. Really? Serious mental state of slavery. They are the ones that's destroying our community. And I go back to the main thing. If we want to change, the body cannot make change. Gathering together is not going to make change. This got to change first, because wherever this is at, this is where the body is going to follow. We have to change the conditions of our mind. And until we change that, black folks or white folks or nobody is never going to make a change in this world until we change the mindset. And the core thing that is destroying the mindset of our people, and now it's filtering into the white people, is the rap music. Rap music promotes everything that is destroying all the black community. Weed, drugs, and sex, and killing and murder. All this is promoted, and our children 3 and 4 years old is listening to this. By the time they get 8 and 9 years old, they are too far gone to change. I hear my grandson one day, he playing the game, and all of a sudden he's 7 years old. I hear him yell, "B" out loud. And then my son, he get mad. I said, you can't get mad because you're doing the same thing you do. He's going to be a reflection and repeat the habits of you. Everything that we do in front of us, our children are going to be a reflection of us. And that's why I said it's our human nature in this world that guides us. It's not our faith. It's not our love. It is our human nature. It is our human nature that will put us and our family, even your children, at risk for our own ignorance.
So
you got people going on Facebook.
This young lady that we were watching, she's saying that her mindset is this: we have a right to do whatever we want to do. That to me sounds like a lawless society. So it's not just about the rap music, it's also about what they're seeing and how they're being portrayed, how they're portraying themselves. Those women on that stage that were doing the gyrating and were doing the P-pop and the twerking, that does not look like anything that's virtuous. Like, anything that's elegant, that's delicate.
But believe me, yeah, it's fine. And you're right. But all that is done. The core behind all that is rap music. Everything that happened on that stage is the core behind it is rap music. It is destroying our children. Now, listen, just like this, if in fact God is real, whatever your religion is, if in fact God is real, under this saying this, everything under the sun that God made, that lives and breathes, conforms to what it's supposed to. A tree does what it's supposed to. A bird, the fishes, the bugs, the ants, the snakes, all things that creepy crawling, that fly, that swim, conforms to what the purpose it was supposed to. be. And if in fact God is real, the Bible is true, what was his greatest creation is his works creation, man, human. Because everything conforms to what it's supposed to be conforming to except humans. Us. We.
Does it feel to you
And
guys?
if in fact God is,
does it feel to you guys that that we're second-class citizens, people that are heterosexual, that we're now the minority in this nation? Because every time I turn on the TV, I'm seeing it. Every time I'm reading a newspaper article, it has something to do with something of that nature. I even seen someone, the track star, Kashari, I can't remember her name. She's LSU. She just won the 100-meter yard dash for the Olympic trials, right? She just won it. And yeah, she's gay. And
well, yeah.
and I was wondering, why is everybody making such a big stink about her? Because they've had Olympic trials before and people won before. Why is why is she all over the news? And that's why.
Because that's why, because the gay, because that's what's in now. But listen, listen, and I hate to say this, but you can thank your first black president for all these gay rights.
Oh yes,
you can definitely thank your first black president for all these gay rights. Gay people coming out. Listen, I ain't even conforming. I don't want to say this, but like my daughter has went that way, and she and I told her, listen, don't understand this. I still love you for who you are, but I will not support your actions as sleeping with another woman. Not gonna happen. And if she knows it, if you ever decide to get married to a woman, daddy's not gonna be there. If daddy come, it's gonna be some furniture moving. I assure you, because I would not give my child away to another woman. Not gonna happen. So, but anyway, she gonna be mad at me for saying that.
Yeah, I just want to say, shouts out to Major TV for dropping in and giving your manly, masculine input on the subject. Your thoughts are always appreciated, my brother. Just listen to a young lady who mindset that we were talking about that's just really in, like you say, it's from she's getting her mentality from what she's watching others that look like her do, and they emulate these things. That's not, and like you say, it has no benefit to our community whatsoever
at all.
I tried my hardest to stay away from this topic, but it's so blatantly in my face. If I pick a TV series to watch on Netflix, sooner or later it's gonna show up. I mean, it's like they're making it the norm. So that's the new normal, right? Remember how orange is the new black? Gay is the new normal.
But listen to this, and this is within my own family as well. You got children, 12, 11, 13, 14-year-old little girls walking around with their butt cheeks hanging out. And the moms and dads are okay with it.
Because they see it on the music video.
Exactly. It's the mental state of slavery. And then you're not mentioning, not to mention that what you're doing is promoting, you're promoting her sexual act, and it will end up eventually she might get tried by an adult.
And then too, I just thought about this. This young lady who was on the video, blasting India.Arie for speaking her mind and giving her opinion on the Essence performances. She doesn't know that what they're doing is provocation. You can't be provocative and not expect to get attention. And you probably is going to be unwanted attention. So when she said, we can shake our booty. Okay, so why are you shaking your booty if it's not to get attention?
It's rap music. That's what it is. They emanating what you just said, what they see. They see all the girls in rap music shaking and twerking, little girls on Facebook doing this stuff. And we as adults, and Tyler Perry, I don't agree with how Tyler Perry do things, but the boy say some real stuff in his plays, his movies. And he said that there's no big mamas no more. There is no big mamas. And then when I grew up, I could watch. We had chores. We had to wash dishes. We always had to clean our own room. We had to do the living room. We had to do the bathroom. Always had, and we went to bed every night at the same time. And I put this recently on my Facebook to show people what happens when you allow your children to raise themselves and do whatever they want to do. And this is happening all over the world, even from within my own family. I tell people all the time, if you don't care enough to understand when someone is trying to teach you how to make your child or their family member a better individual, but instead your human nature overrules all that. You are comfortable with them we give children what they want, not what they need. And that is our problem.
And I think a lot of that has to do with we're trying to pacify them because we're out doing our own thing. So here, you could do this to shut you up because I'm gonna go do this. Like, I've heard a lot of young mothers say, I'm trying to live my life. Well, hold up. I thought that when you had some children, your life is lived through them. Like whatever their desires or aspirations, that becomes your desires and aspirations. And whatever you thought you wanted to do before you brought children into the world, that has to take a back seat. So they're grown and gone. But it's almost like, and we also have a problem with mothers competing with their daughters. Right?
Exactly.
That thing is crazy, right?
Everybody dressed alike.
Exactly, like they don't want to be mothers. They want to be their daughter's best friend. They want to go.
And that's what I tell people all the time.
Like, what? I've never heard of that before. Say again?
Yeah, I tell them all the time. You can't be a best parent and a best friend to your child at the same time. One of them gonna overrule. That's like when my daughter was little, all that back talking that you see kids do when their mama talking to them, they folded their hands and all that. Oh no, we didn't play that. When an adult talking, shut up and listen. Instead, you allow your children to just talk back at them and just go back in a little argument instead of slapping the hell out of their ass. That's what would happen to me when I was little.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't want to discipline their children, because if they start to discipline their children, then their children are going to start telling them about them, right? How you going to tell me not to do this and you doing that? Like that kind of thing, right? So and there's no authority figure. Everybody is just going along to get along and pacifying each other, and it's no real moral compass set.
And go back to what I said. It's your human nature. Like I told my daughter, listen, I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to be like your mom. I want you to exceed us in life. I want you to be the better version of us. If you're not teaching your children to be the better version of you, or to be the best that she can be, or he can be, then you are defeating the purpose.
But right now, I just want to say shout out to all those parents that are out there doing the right thing, who are raising their children with moral values. We are headed towards a moralist society where you can do as thou wilt, and without laws or respect for authority. And I think that's going to be a very destructive path for us. But they said pride comes before destruction. Right? That's what the scripture says. Pride comes before destruction. Yep. So with all of these women on the stage in front of millions of people gyrating and being very provocative, that's showing how prideful you are. You're proud of your body to the fact that you would expose yourself in this way. Pride comes before destruction. So we could talk about this subject and changing the mentality ad nauseum, my brother. But we're coming to that. We already passed that hour and a half mark. So I do want to thank you. Your insight has been quite helpful. I will, I'm gonna have to do some deep diving on how are we going to change the mindset? Because we say change, we got to change our mindset, but what does that look like, and how is that
Yeah,
achieved?
yeah.
You know,
We got to start with sanctioning rap music, or if we can't get the governments to sanction rap music, is be a better parent and not play that type of music, or not allow your children to ever hear that type of music till they reach a certain age.
yeah. Well, I guess we need to do one of those petitions where we say sign a petition to ban rap music and see how far we go, because they still have. I'm 50 years old. Well, I'll be 50 in a couple of days, but people my age still listen to rap music because we were brought up on rap music. So if you got 50-year-olds who are now grandparents still listening to the music, you know,
with their
brother, I
pants
don't
hanging
know
down.
if we're gonna get an agreement on that. I think we're gonna have to find something else.
I know. And their pants and their pants hanging down the butt,
Right, still
showing
the
their dirty old drawers.
that
If I see one more man with a throwback jersey, if I see another 60 over 60 with another throwback jersey on and his pants hanging down showing his dusty underwear from 1960, I'm just gonna scream.
yes, my brother. Yes. You know, brother, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. And I wish you all much success in your upcoming run in October. I'm sure I'll see you again and we'll be talking again before then. But yeah, I just want everybody to know Bobby Worthy is running for the NAACP president in the Georgia chapter, correct?
State of Georgia.
State of Georgia.
For the
And
whole state, yeah.
the whole state, okay. So yes, that election is going to take place in October, but that's NAACP members that vote, correct?
Yes.
So I'm asking all my people who believe in prayers to pray for this brother and that he's successful, because I definitely would like to see the NAACP do more than just give us lip service. And with that being said, my brother, I want to say shalom. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Peace.
Well, okay, good people. And there you have it. It's always a pleasure speaking with both brothers. They bring some great insight to all these issues and problems and situations we're having in our life these days. One thing we have to make sure of and be sure of, that we take care of each other, right? That we form valuable relationships with those people that have like minds, that want to see our people liberated and want to stop the grifting that's going on in our community, the scamming, you know, the abuse, right? Verbal abuse and physical abuse. For all those people who want to not be involved in such things, I implore you to get with people with like minds. Um, Continue to keep your head on a swivel, because things are heating up in this nation and in this country and this world. And I'm not talking about the volcanoes that's erupting in Iceland and about to go off in Yellowstone, but in wars, in famine, in droughts, all these things, possible government shutdown if the people don't uh, do a budget, get an approved budget on the table. A fiscal year October is coming up really fast, and we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully, there won't be a government shutdown. But people, please take care of each other. Find ways to uh, invest in you and your family's future. Stop living for just today and think about tomorrow, because unfortunately times are going to get a little bit rougher, and you want to make sure that you're not part of the problem, but you're a part of the solution. So with that being said, for those that tuned in, I thank you so very much. And for those that will see this on the replay, thank you also. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also share this video. Those brothers gave some very insightful thoughts and reflections, right? So please share the video. If you haven't subscribe. Hit the like button, helps with the algorithms. Leave comments. I read your comments. I love comments. So let us know what you think about the whole Tulsa, Oklahoma reparations case dismissal and their cases moving forward to an appeal. let us know what you think about John Fitzgerald Johnson, Grandmaster Jay. His appeal case is coming up. And let me know what you thought about Bobby Worthy's jurisdictional challenge that he put forth on behalf of Grandmaster Jay. Hopefully that will work and he'll be able to come home sooner. And then also Janelle Monae and the identity agenda controversy. It's all over the internet. She's standing on it and she's not apologizing for it. But like Mr. Worthy said, we have to change our mindset if we're going to move forward. I can't see someone consciously saying, okay, this is a nation of people in the state that we are right now, and the things that they're seeing in mainstream and the things that we're doing in mainstream. Can't see that, we don't appear to be a people that's oppressed and suffering and in need of reparations or any help from the government. So with that being said, I want to thank you again. This has been Okoti Speaks. I wish y'all love and many blessings. Shalom.